In 1492, Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. History books call him a great explorer. But here's the secret nobody tells you. People were crossing oceans thousands of years before Columbus was even born. No metal tools, no compass, no maps, just simple rafts, the stars, and pure courage. This is the story of the first ocean crossers. Long before pyramids, long before writing, long before farming spread across the world, small groups of humans pushed their boats into open water. They had no idea what was on the other side. They could not see land. They could not turn back easily. And yet they went anyway. Some of these voyages happened more than 7,000 years before Columbus ever touched a ship. That means people were exploring oceans before most of recorded history even began. Think about that for a second. No cities yet. No written language yet. No wheels yet. But humans were already brave enough to sail into nothing but blue water. How do we actually know this happened? Archaeologists found tools, bones, and seeds on islands that were never connected to the mainland. These islands could only be reached by water. Ever. That means someone had to get there on purpose. It could not have been an accident. One famous example is the island of Cyprus. In the Mediterranean Sea, Cyprus has always been surrounded by deep water, even during the Ice Age. But ancient farmers somehow ended up there with their animals and crops. They brought sheep, goats, pigs, and even wild cats on board their boats. This is a huge clue. It means they didn't just float there by accident. They planned the trip. They packed supplies. They brought living animals on a boat for days. They knew they were leaving home for good, and they prepared like it. They had no engines, no sails like we imagine today. Most likely, they used simple log rafts or hollowed-out canoes. They paddled by hand, for hours, maybe even days at a time. Picture that. No land in sight. No rescue boat behind them. Just open water in every direction. They didn't have GPS, but they weren't lost either. Ancient people read the world like a map. They watched the stars to find direction at night. They followed ocean currents, because currents almost always move the same way. They watched birds, since birds fly toward land when the sun starts to set. They even studied cloud patterns, because clouds often form above hidden islands. This wasn't luck. This was real skill, passed down for generations. Parents taught their children. Those children taught their own kids. An entire system of ocean knowledge, with no books and no school. For a long time, scientists doubted any of this was even possible. They thought ancient humans were too primitive to cross open ocean on purpose. Then in 1947, a Norwegian explorer named Thor Heyerdahl decided to test the idea himself. He built a raft using only materials ancient people would have had access to. No modern tools, no steel, no motor, just wood, rope, and a simple sail. He called it the Kon-Tiki. Then he sailed it across the Pacific Ocean with a small crew, trusting only the wind and the waves. The trip covered over 4,000 miles of open sea, and it worked. Heyerdahl proved that simple rafts could survive long, dangerous ocean journeys. Suddenly, the impossible, ancient voyages didn't sound so impossible anymore. Here's where the story gets even crazier. Cyprus was not the earliest ocean crossing in human history. Not even close. Long before that, early humans crossed open water to reach Australia. Many scientists believe this happened around 65,000 years ago. That is so far back, it's hard to even compare it to Columbus. To put that in perspective, Columbus sailed only about 530 years ago. The first humans reached Australia tens of thousands of years before that. These early travelers crossed water passages where you could not see the other side, even on a clear day. There was no way to know land was even out there. They had no proof an island even existed. They sailed into the complete unknown anyway, and somehow they survived. Picture this for a moment. You're standing on a small wooden raft. There is no engine humming, no radio, no other boats nearby. The sun is setting, and the only light left is from the stars above you. Your entire family is on this raft with you. Your children too. You don't know exactly where land is. You only have a feeling built from stories your elders told you. The waves rock the raft back and forth, hour after hour. You run out of fresh water on day 3. You catch fish with your bare hands to survive. This wasn't a movie. This was real life for these ancient travelers. They faced storms with no weather forecast. They faced hunger with no backup food supply. They faced fear with no one to call for help. And still, generation after generation, they kept sailing further and further into the unknown. That kind of courage built entire new societies on islands no one had ever seen before. We are often taught that ancient humans were simple, slow, and limited. But the truth is the exact opposite. These people built boats that actually worked. They studied the sky and the sea like scientists without ever calling it science. They trusted their own knowledge enough to risk their lives on the open ocean. They weren't lucky castaways who washed up somewhere by accident. They were explorers, planners, survivors. Long before any flag was planted in the New World, humans were already proving they could conquer the oceans. Columbus didn't open the world to ocean travel. Ancient humans had already been doing it for thousands of years. So the next time someone says Columbus discovered ocean travel, remember this. People were already doing it, thousands of years earlier, with nothing but wood, rope, courage, and the stars above them. If this blew your mind, the ocean still has more secrets like this one.